Together we will be taking on the most corrupt forces and entrenched interests imaginable. Our country is in a horrible state. We're in grave trouble. This is not a task for a politician or a conventional candidate. This is a task for a great movement that embodies the courage, confidence, and the spirit of the American people. This is a movement. This is not for any one individual. This is a job for tens of millions of proud people working together from all across the land and from all walks of life, young and old, black and white, Hispanic and Asian, many of whom we have brought together for the very, very first time. If you look at the numbers, if you look at what's happened with Hispanic, with African American, with Asian, and just look at what's happening. This is a party that has become much bigger, much stronger.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, it's about to go down. He's at it again, y'all. He is running in 2024. The most predictable outcome that anybody could have predicted possible. We all knew that this was going to happen. And I think that it's not a shock. It shouldn't be a shock that he's running again. Now, this isn't a pro or anti-Trump video. I just want to point out something that's very, that I think that people in my community and the Black Latino community are going to have to, and the Native community, we're going to have to come to grips with. There is a huge growing trend of Trump supporters, not just even Trump supporters, but I would even say, because there's Republican support within our communities. It has been a seismic shift. I think that is being greatly underestimated. Now, I'm not here to say that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't believe that either party in the end has our best interest in mind. But there are times, there are situations where one at one point could be more beneficial than the other. For instance, even though we can now see the effects of the Civil Rights Acts and the things that happened in the 60s and feminism, the negative impact, it's easy for us to armchair quarterback and look at that now as a negative thing or negative things. That's very easy to do, and it may have been negative from the jump, which many of us believe now. However, in those times, if you ask the people who were in those times, who felt that they needed those things to happen, who really didn't understand how to obtain access. We understand, I think that we look back at the past, we forget that they didn't have the information available to them. What they had was what they had. So if you're fighting for, it's easy now for us to say we should have kept everything as blacks and we owned it. Now I agree with that. We should have kept everything because we owned it, even if it was less and just built it up. But when you're living in that time, you don't have any information on how to build. You were a slave. You're one generation away from slavery, or you were just in slavery in some cases, or you don't know. You only know what you know. Having opportunities to live amongst so-called higher class people in society, people who are placed above in society, work, maintain, get a living, get education in those spaces, seems like the right thing to do. Just from a logical standpoint, I think if you're not recognizing that, you're not being logical, or if you're a woman and you're seeing that you can't vote, you don't really have a voice, you're dealing with generation after men who don't really see you as human, objectify you or whatever. At that time, feminism seemed like a good idea. So it's easy for us to look at these things now and shoot them down, but we gotta understand that in certain shifts, in certain times in history, people are going to vote for the best interest of their time. People are going to choose what they feel is in the best interest for themselves, because the first law of nature is self-preservation. And there are times where you may have to make a choice to preserve yourself to get through these a particular time and place, and maybe the next generation to be the one that changed, or the generation after that. But you're in such a dire strait that you have to pick what's going to help you out right now. And in the past, not just us, but people of all groups and nations have been able to do that. Problem is the era we live in now, where there's so much misinformation, where though we have so much more available information-wise ever than before, technology-wise, you can Google anything, there's so much information, but yet we're dumber than ever. What we're going to have to understand about Trump and what he's saying right here is what he was just talking about, whether you love him or hate him, that was all true. The support, the groundswell of support that he's getting from these communities is significant. Love it or hate it, it is what it is. And I'm going to explain why that is. The reason why Trump is getting so much support, because you have to understand he's a master marketer. He's a master at marketing. You have to read his book, read some of his books and some of his work, man. He's a lot smarter than, don't just think that he's just some crazy, don't look at that Donald Trump or some trust fund baby who only is rich because his dad. All that is stuff that you got to be careful with some information you get. He's a master at marketing. He would have been rich regardless if his father was rich or not. Trust me. So he understood, not just him, but I think the Republican Party in general, what they understood was that they saw a disenfranchised marketplace. They saw a marketplace that once was a thriving marketplace that was totally ignored since the 60s. That marketplace was men. And conservative traditional women. Now, some of you may be saying, what are you talking about? There's always been Republicans. No, the energy has been different with Donald Trump in office from that point. The red pill movement you see online right now, the quote unquote red pill, a lot of that stemmed from that. That energy stemmed from that Donald Trump masculine energy that was put out there. The Republican Party, Donald Trump, whether they're Trump Republicans or whatever, if you notice, when you research the people, the main creators who even are on YouTube, who are coming out, and then you trace back their political affiliations, they all turn up red. Whether it's good or bad, like I said, we're not here to say whether something's good or bad. A lot of y'all are triggered to have to choose a side. This is the balance channel where we only talk about what is and try to create a balance. We're not here to tell you to be pro-Democrat or pro-Republican, but we have to recognize what's going on. They recognize a disenfranchised demographic within those communities, and started to cater to that demographic, and they started using their opposition's tools, which is technology, the apps, the algorithms, and things like that nature, in their favor, and feeding a starving beast. Not just with those groups, but the whites too as well. But the black men, for the first time, we're starting to hear people. You're seeing creators get more of a spotlight that will speak about men's issues, especially in the black community. All that has been funded, whether you guys know it or not, by politics. And I'm going to do a deeper dive on that later. You can request that video. Hit the like button, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't. And you can put in the comments if you want to see that video. I want to break down the whole Operation Red Pill for you guys. But anyway, that is what that was a very smart move, and it created this shift. That was one of the main. There's other factors as well, but it created that shift. Another factor is this. It's just simply is that more more education and information, and unfortunately, with the Democratic Party, they have been very reliant on the stupidity and ignorance of their voters. That's why you see them. When you get so used to something, you don't know what to do when you get punched in the mouth. So that's why you see the no voting, no bucking, and the garbage and nonsense, the pandering, the Democratic fish fries and all of that. To try to they're using stuff. They're using stuff from the '90s, man, and a lot of black people are looking at that and they're like, not just, a lot of blacks and Latinos looking at that and they're like, no, man, no. We this y'all this is an insult. So that's what happened. A lot with that. Then on top of that, on top of those things, you're dealing with the traditional woman, a traditional woman who's been demonized and vilified just for wanting to be a wife or whatever. So they, instead of just talking about making political points and talking on news channels, what they did was they took to the internet, these Trump supporters and things of that nature, and they wisely put together strategic measures to reach these audiences, and they created the ground. So what you see now is only going to grow bigger. And I'm going to tell you the truth that y'all are going to have to face as blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. A lot of y'all still don't like Trump. Well, most of y'all still don't like him, whatever. I'm not here to say to like him. I'll tell you, I love his gangster. I respect the hell out of his gangster. Do I like a lot of things he do? No, but you guys, making decisions can't be about how you personally feel. A lot of times you have to go with what's working for, what works best for you, what's more beneficial to you. So, especially in the Latino community, what he has done was, not him, just the Republicans in general, they stuck to their core of the traditional family structure, when it could have been very easy to veer off into the other things, the other family structures, and try to match the other party or compete with it. But they stuck to those cores, and as they stuck to those cores, the other side got more extreme in going away from it. They went from, you gotta understand, the Democrat Party you see today is it's a different party. It's not the same Democratic Party that I grew up knowing. Are some of the core beliefs the same? I would guess so, yeah. Because there's a lot of things that I agree with. If you put, matter of fact, if you put an itemized list together, I would probably still come out more so. I don't like either side. Let's keep it straight. Yeah, both sides are not good. But if you were to go bullet point, I would probably, even still with all the negativity, I would still probably lean maybe a little more left than right. That's because I'm more of a free thinker in it. But I don't even know if I can even say that now, because it's funny, because like I said, these are new Democrats. So they're see, back when I was growing up, the Republicans were more extreme, more like you need to do this or else, more trying to, at least that's what it appeared. Now the liberal people, they're way more extreme now. They're more like church people. They're like old. They're basically the new church. They're basically the new Christians. The new old school Christians. If you don't follow what we follow, then you're going to, instead of saying you're going to go to hell, they say we're going to cancel you, or we're going to take your money. We're going to make fun of you on the internet and call you names, and all of that's been turning people off. It's been turning people off. So they've been doing a lot of their own shooting in the foot. Then you have the fact that they don't honor the family structure and the core, especially with blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. Our core, we still very much family oriented, especially in the Latino community. Still very family orientated. So as they seen before with the Democrats, they would still kind of cater to that, and then try to slide their agendas under a little bit. Now they're trying to outright push it, and a lot of Latinos and blacks and Native Americans are waking up and saying, "Wait, hold up. We didn't sign up for this. Wait, no, hold on." So that's a big part. Y'all gonna have to understand, man. Trump not going nowhere. Even if something happened and he died, the Pandora's box that he opened is not going nowhere. Like Dave Chappelle said, man, it's a joke, but it was real. He basically the first one that went up in there and said, everything y'all thought that was going on, the corruption, is true. So look what's been found after Trump. Look what's going on with Kanye and Kyrie. Look what's been going on with Andrew Tate and how they try to do Kevin Simmons. How they just, it's crazy, man. We're in crazy times. So you can't get too caught up in how you personally feel. Just make decisions based on what's more beneficial to you. A lot of y'all conditioned to just still choose what you've been told to do your whole life, and that's the plantation mentality. Now you can join the dark side with us and say I choose neither. But I know a lot of y'all don't want to do that. A lot of y'all want to go and do it. So I'm going to say this. We got to stop choosing with emotion. We got to understand that a lot of y'all that's trying to stay hardcore on the left hand side, or hardcore, a lot of that stuff, I mean, are looking, just don't look smart. Look at the COVID situation. As people grow more intelligent, that ideology is going to weaken. People are growing more intelligent, and I know that I hear a lot of the logic-based people are saying that, well, all these young Generation Z, they're going to grow up and they're going to vote more extreme. No, I don't think so, man. I don't think it's going to happen like that, because there's one major thing you are all forgetting: biology, science, facts. Those don't go anywhere. No matter how much they try to change and radicalize, they try to turn people to robots, they're not going anywhere. The Most High God is not going anywhere. So what's going to keep happening is all these extremities, as they get pushed, they're going to fail, because it's just going to run up against simple logic. People are going to question, just how young people are questioning. You got the incel communities, the other communities, they're questioning, man, why I can't get in? Why is this like this? And as they do research, they're going to see where it's coming from, and they're going to lean away from that more. That's why I'm listen, man. I'm gonna just say this: the voting numbers, they do not reflect what I see in the community daily. They're trying to say like it's only like 10% shift, and it's a nice shift and all that, but you know, for the Republicans and Trump and all that, it's much bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. I would say it's double to triple of that. I would say, yes, maybe you still see a lot of black people, Latinos, whatever, still go Democrat, but it's way, way, way less than before. Way less. And then even the in-betweens are even asking more, and they're more leaning right. These voting numbers that are out right now, I'm telling you, look, man, let's just keep it 100. Let's just keep it 100. They told y'all before the votes was even cast, that it's going to take time for them to count votes. Let's think about that simple. They told y'all that it's going to take time to count votes. How you going to... See, y'all hear fancy talk behind that, and y'all don't focus on the basic common sense. Before something even started, they already say, yeah, we're gonna have to take our time, and it may be wrong. How did you know? Unless you was doing something corrupt, how do you know? I don't believe these numbers. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe these numbers, man. I believe the real. I think that the Democratic Party has lost a lot more support, because it feels an age thing to be 1 point, but it's not an age. And I don't want to say I'm going, because I got a lot of good friends as Democrats and Republicans. I'm just talking what it is right now. Just being straight down the middle. Their support, man, is I've never seen any drop like this. So I look at those poll numbers. I know they can't be real. Because I'm out in the community. I talk to people every day. I talk to people every day, and that does not reflect the actual change. I talk to other people who talk to people. It's just not computing. How could Biden, even in the election, the presidential, how could Joe Biden get more votes than Barack Obama? He got more than Barack Obama, right? And Trump also received the biggest uprise in the black vote at the same time. One of those kind of that don't make. I'm just saying, y'all don't. We ask the simple questions. I don't want to hear all the those simple. I can't get past certain simple things. But with that being said, family, understand what it is, man. You're gonna have to deal with Trump with another. Understand within the community, y'all gonna have to understand that this uprising is going to continue. Y'all, so instead of fighting with emotions, instead of trying to call names, just go research out the candidates and the issues yourself. You can actually look these things up online, look these policies up online. The amount of ignorance I get when I talk to people who haven't read any of this stuff is, I shouldn't be shocked by now, but it's still kind of shocking. Y'all don't read anything. A lot of y'all just talking, y'all just saying stuff y'all heard off of social media and news, and it's embarrassing. So go and get the facts for yourself. Do your own research. Think independently. Disconnect yourself from these news. Anything that can try to push you one way or the other, disconnect yourself from that. Just go straight down a little, get the facts, and make decisions from that you feel is best for you. So with that being said, family, peace, love, life, and balance.